Arirang Special.
I've been a correspondent in Korea for about 2 years, but I've always followed the North Korea issue, and this has always been something that's been very interesting to me. Last year seemed as close to the brink of war as we've been, both in terms of the relationship between South Korea and North Korea, but North Korea and Japan, and North Korea and the United States.
去年はミサイル発射実験、核実験を繰り返して、非常に朝鮮半島それから世界の緊張が高まっていたので。
People talk about the fact that North Korea has reneged on every single nuclear deal it's ever signed, and so people have very little reason to think that it'll stick to this one if it does sign a denuclearization deal. So there's a lot of skepticism about where this process will go.
We will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
미국 번터 전역이 우리의 핵 타격 사정권 안에 있으며 핵 단추가 내 사무실 책상 위에 항상 놓여 있다는 것.
I think Donald Trump was serious when he threatened military strikes, preemptive military strike on North Korea, and I think that scared everybody in the region. Kim Jong-un himself was probably scared and wanted to discuss, and I think Moon Jae-in probably thought, okay, we really need to start a diplomatic process because this is getting too dangerous.
대한민국이 지구상에서 냉전을 완전히 종식시키는 나라가 되도록 하겠습니다. 제 다음에 누군가는 통일 한국의 대통령으로 베를린을 방문할 수 있도록 제가 초석을 닦겠습니다.
And Berlin is also my hometown, and it was a divided city, and the discussion in the media mostly focused on how will he achieve denuclearization. That was the biggest issue for the media, and at that time some of my editors actually were respecting Moon Jae-in for his idealism and found his speech moving, but also thought it's unrealistic, and they didn't give him a high chance to achieve that.
모든 것을 걸고 전쟁만은 막을 것입니다. 북한의 결단을 다시 한번 촉구하면서 마지막 순간까지 문을 활짝 열어놓고 기다리겠다.
Actually, I thought that it's impossible because North Korea at that time had a stance that it didn't want any contacts with the South or with the United States. They were only focused on developing the nuclear program and its missile program. And actually, what I thought was that this idea of President Moon Jae-in it just wouldn't work.
This is obviously a huge historic moment. Watching Kim Jong-un approach the border and Moon Jae-in approach the border, and in that moment where they shook hands, it was emotional because this is something that they could never have imagined, especially just a few months ago.
They are very interested, and all the media are covering this. You can see it's even here there are almost 3,000 journalists from all over the world, and in Germany it's the same. It's the main topic for days. We are talking for days, and from morning till evening, we will talk about this summit, and for sure tomorrow as well.
I've covered G20s, G7s, ASEAN, lots of summit meetings. This is probably the most people I've seen consecutively in one press file ever. That's because even though there's lots of international events where there's this many journalists, this is the first time I've seen all the journalists gathered at once and actually seated at their table, and it's rather cramped spaces, so it's quite a spectacle to see this many people all trying to work and cover this event at the same time.
I think there are so many different angles that you can look at this summit, and in the past few days I interviewed so many different people. They have a different point of view on the relationship between the South and the North and the international scope of the things. So I think as a journalist I'm very excited and very happy to be here.
今日8時過ぎぐらいに会場に来まして、あまりの大きさに驚きました。来る前から3000人規模だという話は聞いていたんですけれども、あまたある国際会議の中でここまでの規模のものっていうのは聞いたことがないので、うまい形でとてもいい形で南北会談っていうのはこぎつけたんだなというふうに思います。
The atmosphere is quite cheerful and working atmosphere. A lot of people gathered here. I've never seen so many journalists just being in one place here before.
我希望这一次的南北会晤的话，能够对于朝鲜半岛的无核化进程达成一定的协议，这样的话有助于整个朝鲜半岛的稳定，对于整个东北亚的局势也会比较好。
午前中は夕刊があるので、夕刊の記事を時間通りに送らなければいけないので緊張していました。 北朝鮮が考えていること、何を狙っているのかな、どういう計画の中でこれを考えているのかっていうのをちょっと書きたいと思います。
보도를 좀 해주시기 부탁드립니다.
毎日新聞での外信部で朝鮮半島などを担当している米村と言います。朝鮮半島について担当を始めたのは2007年ぐらいからですので、もう10年以上になります。でその間に大連に1年間、それから北京に3年間いて、中国から北朝鮮を見て、北朝鮮の方々にも直接会ったりして、取材を続けてきました。あ、どうも久しぶりです。じゃあ座っていただいて。とにかく大きなニュースなので、たくさん記事を書かなければいけないということで、その準備で大変です。で、多分おそらく新聞でも今考えているだけで5ページ分をの記事を作らなければいけないので、大きなニュースなので新聞でもたくさんのページを使わなければいけないということで、そのための計画を立ててで、準備をしています。
日本としては、最もいいのはやはり北東アジアの安全保障秩序が維持されながら北朝鮮の非核化が実現することなんですよね。
北朝鮮に対し非核化に向けた具体的行動を実際に実施するよう求めていく。
そのためには当然在韓米軍、またそのアメリカ軍の配置 というのが変わらず、そして中国、ロシアにも、過度な、緊張状態を与えずに、そのまま北朝鮮が非核化していくことというのが望ましい。ただもちろんこれは難しいでしょうから、その辺の韓国、アメリカの努力が必要になってくると思います。
テレビでも毎日あと何日後には南北首脳会談をやるというニュースをやっていますし、でそれがやはり非核化という一番大きな目標に本当につながるのかということに一番関心を持っています。
安全保障の問題が議論できなかった、以前の南北首脳会談ではだから経済が中心であったと、北朝鮮で発言とかですね、文書などを見ますと、核という言葉を言わないようになってますね。もちろん
일본이 북한에 대해서 생각하는 안전보장상의 위협은 미국이 생각하는 것보다 사실은 더 큽니다.
ご来場の皆様および職員にお知らせします。ただいまの屋外防災行政用無線のサイレンは訓練放送です。
일본으로서는 핵이 없어도 노동 미사일이라든가 무수단 미사일이라든가 그러니까 화성 12 정도로도 도쿄가 공격받을 수 있기 때문에 재래식 무기도 위험한 것이고 핵도 위험한 것입니다. 일본으로서는 그 모든 미사일과 핵이 다 폐기가 되어야만이 일본이 안전하다라고 생각하는 것이죠. 그런데 시간이 지나면서 북한의 의도가 사실상의 비핵화로 가는 것 같다. 그 과정이 중국, 남한, 미국을 통해서 이루어지고 있는 것을 보면서 지금 일본이 무엇을 해야 할지 상당히 고민하고 있습니다.
今回の一連の流れの中できっかけを韓国が作って韓国政府がアメリカと北朝鮮の間の仲介をとてもうまくやったのは間違いないと。
私の名前は上野幹彦と言います。日本では政治部と社会部の仕事を主にしていました。ムン・ジェイン政権が初めの頃から北朝鮮との対話を重視してきたというのはよく記憶しています。ただ去年は北朝鮮が軍事挑発を繰り返していたこともあり、うまくいっていなかったと思います。対話を進めることで、朝鮮半島の緊張を解くという方向性は、正しいと思っています。ただ北朝鮮が本当に非核化をするか、については、やはり疑問はありますし、
特に、拉致問題について、ぜひ、この戦災一遇の機会を捉えてこの解決に向けてこの拉致問題について、議題に乗せ、解決を強く迫ってもらいたい。
一般人の一般市民や政治家の中にもやはり日本が置き去りになるという心配もありますし、置き去りになるということはすなわち拉致問題が解決が遅れるという心配が大きくあると思います。これから南北の首脳がどのような話をして、特に朝鮮半島の非核化問題、それから朝鮮半島の平和についてどのような話をして結論が出るか、関心を持って見守っていきたいと思っています。
네, 저희들은 그 중국에서 가장 큰 그 방송 그룹이 하나입니다. 그래서 이번에는 기자가 거의 한 20명 정도가 동원이 됐고요. TV 프로그램 말고도 라디오 프로그램도 작성해 방송을 했고, 또 문재인 대통령이 청와대를 떠나서 판문점으로 오는 그 시각부터 지금까지 모든 것을 SNS를 통해서 거의 생방송처럼 방송하고 있습니다.
So there's a lot of skepticism about where this process will go, but there's a lot of happiness about the fact that this process has started at all. I think everybody agrees that negotiations and diplomacy are better than military strikes, which is where we were at the end of last year.
It's probably the most attention that they've ever paid to the Korean Peninsula, definitely in the last sort of couple of decades, I would say. And I think they hope that it's going to come to something.
It's an important first step, and I think it paves the way to the meeting that is going to take place, maybe, with Donald Trump in June. So I think that, yes, once again, we're witnessing something that everyone has been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, well, I feel very excited to be here because I think it's a very important event and the beginning of something. We will see where it leads, but I think it's very, very interesting for Korea and for the rest of the region, also for the rest of the world.
참석에 대해서 결정된 게 있는지 여쭤봅니다.
My name is Denuclearization, the Task News Agency. You have mentioned that Mr. Kim Jong-un's wife is, it's not yet known whether she's coming or not. But what about Mr. Moon Jae-in's spouse? Is she going to Panmunjom? Thank you. I would like to see the procedure of the meeting of two leaders, you know. What Kim Jong-un will be wearing, what kind of outfit. We even, you know, made a little bet with my colleagues, and some say that he will be wearing like a white costume and maybe a necktie. So that's also interesting how he would look like. And will he bring his wife is also intriguing. Hello. Вот я тут фотографии сейчас отбираю как раз. It's been already 3 years since I came to the South Korea, and before that I worked in many other countries also, and I've been also bureau chief for our office in North Korea, in Pyongyang, in the years of 2003-2006. People in Russia are majorly interested about North Korea and what happens around it, and so yeah, all those nuclear tests and missile launches were of high interest, and I basically reported almost live about it.
Статус Северной Кореи. Ракетно-ядерная программа Пхеньяна грубо нарушает резолюцию Совета Безопасности ООН, подрывает режим нераспространения, создает угрозу безопасности в Северо-Восточной Азии.
한편 우리 두 정상은 국제사회의 거듭된 경고에도 불구하고 지난주 북한이 육자 핵실험을 강행한 것을 강력히 규탄하며 한반도와 극동 지역이 가진 무한한 잠재력을 실현시키기 위해서는 이 지역이 당면한 가장 시급하고 중대한 도전인 북한 핵미사일 문제를 조속히 해결하는 것이 무엇보다 중요하다는 데 의견을 같이 하겠습니다.
When Moon Jae-in at the G20 summit said that South Korea would be at the driver's seat of the process for denuclearizing North Korea and kind of building good relationship with it, I was very skeptical about it. So I thought that Moon Jae-in's administration is certainly going to fail because North Korea acted absolutely different. It didn't show any signs of being ready to do that. It just continued developing its nuclear program and ballistic missile program. And I was really skeptical, but it turned out that I was wrong.
はい、まさにですね、このプレスセンターの中で、シャンガン城の会談の様子などがですね、生中継で見て送られているんですが、その様子をですね、
Hey y'all, news is actually breaking right this second, so I can't really chat. I'm going to keep this line open, okay?
first image of the North Korean leader coming out and smiling, that this gave me like a sentiment and feeling of positivity. And now I feel like we are going to have some positive results from this summit, at least I hope.
Did you see that? Yeah. Oh, what a power play. Oh, they had him cross over. Spontaneous move.
Moon Jae-in, c'est seulement la troisième fois depuis 1953 qu'un tel sommet a lieu et surtout c'est une image absolument historique parce que c'est la première fois depuis 65 ans qu'un dirigeant nord-coréen
is something that they've never seen before. The curiosity surrounding North Koreans as well is just incredible. The moment where they took each other's hand, I think Kim Jong-un took Moon Jae-in's hand and then they crossed the border and then they crossed the border again. I think that moment is just a signal of how two leaders who have been so far apart for so long, and yet the moment they meet, all of the tension, all of the problems for just that small moment at least melt away. Now, we don't know what happens when they go in the room. We don't know what happens when they get to summit talks. But for that moment, it signals that actually we're all a bit human. And I think Kim Jong-un even mentioned that he felt a kind of rush of emotion during that moment. And I think that signals that this is someone for many years has been behind, somewhere we can't get into, somewhere we can't see. So to hear him say that, it kind of puts a human face on a leader that we just don't know.
まず最初からものすごい笑顔で境界線を2人で行ったり来たりっていう演出から表面的ではなくいかに平和に向けての道を具体的に進めようとしているのかという気概みたいなものは感じました。
Kim Jong-un walk over and then hold the hand of President Moon and take him back the other way and to pull him into the north, just briefly, and to see them making that journey together was quite interesting, and smiling and being happy. So let's hope it sets a good tone for what comes next, but who knows what the plan is.
其实当下的感觉，我觉得现场其他可能是南韩的记者或者是民众，让我感觉还蛮震惊的，因为现场响起一阵的欢呼声，然后甚至有拍手，那我完全可以感受到他们很期待这一刻，已经期待很久。那我自己本身也会感觉到蛮兴奋的。
I'm Italian, so we like personal body, So handshake was expected, but hugging was not. And I understand for Eastern people it's not so common. So I believe that this was a very strong symbol of friendship and mutual trust. And the funny one was that I noticed that the North Korean cameramen are very brave. They look like Italian paparazzi. They are always in the middle. The South Koreans were very polite and abide by the rules, but there were always these cameramen from, and maybe they enjoy the occasion. They don't have so many occasions, so congratulations to them.
That's right. So they were shaking hands for a long time and smiling for cameras. They chit-chatted about the journey down to the border before Kim then, in an unscripted move, invited the South's Moon to step over to the northern side just for a few moments, as a symbolic gesture. Before then, well, I wanted it to be less scripted. So as a journalist, I wanted there to be more surprises. And so the fact that Kim Jong-un kind of hijacked the moment right at the military demarcation line and suddenly finally had Moon Jae-in come over to the north side for a couple of moments, that was actually exciting for me to see as a journalist because it wasn't pre-planned. And so anything that is actually news, and we mean news by saying like not planned in advance, that I want to see. And so to see a little bit of that I thought was exciting. The interest in the U.S. is huge because this inter-Korean summit is not only Kim Jong-un's first real official diplomatic summit since he's become leader, but also it's largely seen as the prelude to what happens next between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, which is supposed to follow in mere weeks after this summit. It seemed like actually a great opportunity because the U.S. government, especially the State Department, which is traditionally overseas diplomacy, the State Department saw this historic hollowing out, right? A lot of career diplomats were either forced out of their jobs or voluntarily resigning and retiring. And so there was just this huge brain drain on the U.S. side, which meant for this long-time bilateral relationship between the U.S. and South Korea, it was a real opportunity for South Korea to take the leadership seat and take the driver's seat, if you will. And it seems like it has. All along, after Kim Jong-un signaled that he was interested in diplomacy, South Korea very quickly kind of took up that ball and began the furious back and forth. This is my producer with Arirang TV, which is the Korean English language, or the English language. What's an outcome, or I guess parts of the agreement that you expect to see on Friday, kind of low-hanging fruit, if you will?
President Moon is planting some seeds. Now, the South Korean government has said that one component to their agenda will be denuclearization. One component will be the conventional military tensions and the possibility of confidence-building measures.
One thing that's already getting debated a lot because it seems to have different meanings to different people, and maybe there's a difference in the head of state himself, Trump, and his government on the meaning of the word denuclearization. Mm-hmm. Is there an agreed upon meaning? How would you define it?
No, there's a lot of baggage behind it. Almost all the vocabulary in the North Korean record of negotiations and in the history here.
The ideal scenario is that Kim Jong-un actually agrees to not only inspectors into Yongbyon, but inspectors into the nuclear sites in North Korea that are not known, that they haven't previously acknowledged. So if they are able to get to a deal where North Korea even acknowledges the fact that it has other nuclear sites, I think that would be huge for the United States. But the big, direction that the U.S. is pushing for, of course, is complete, verifiable, irreversible denuclearization, CVID.
The image that lasted for me that I will definitely not forget is when the two leaders had a tea break outside at a deck, where there were some beautiful trees and it seemed very idyllic and peaceful. And Moon Jae-in was talking to Kim Jong-un, and he was diligently listening, and it reminded me totally of a father-son or a teacher-student relation. And you could see, of course, it's a Confucian culture, and Moon Jae-in is almost double the age of Kim, and you could really see that a North Korean leader who usually wants to seem very powerful and powerful, and he seems very modest in that way, like a human being.
They were in this quiet place to the east of the military buildings and things where the official business goes on at Panmunjom. In this quiet place, and you could hear birds, which you don't necessarily hear in Seoul. And so that was remarkable. But outside of that, the fact that they were sitting together without staff, eventually without cameras close by, where they could really have a private moment for 20 or 30 minutes where they were chatting. I'd love to know what they were saying. But the peacefulness, the serenity of that moment was striking. But at the same time, I thought to myself, that Donald Trump will never be able to have a moment with Kim like this because, one, he may be a senior, but he can't speak the language, and they'll never fully connect.
I think we need to look at a couple of factors when we consider why North Korea has come out for engagement so soon after the nuclear and missile tests of 2017. One reason, obviously, is that we have a new president here in South Korea. What we've seen since Moon Jae-in has been elected is a change in that through his initiatives toward North Korea without waiting for some permissions from outside.
한반도의 평화를 위해 동분서주하겠습니다. 필요하면 곧바로 워싱턴으로 날아가겠습니다. 베이징과 도쿄에도 가고 여건이 조성되면 평양에도 가겠습니다.
I mean, in Korea, people use the expression Korea passing, meaning that all the decisions that matters about Korea are not taken in Seoul or in Pyongyang. That the biggest power, like China or the US, that take all the decision.
Today, the Security Council increased the penalty of North Korea's ballistic missile activity to a whole new level.
I don't know if it has any impact, but certainly it was nice to get a 15-0 vote, but those sanctions are nothing compared to what ultimately will have to happen.
The President's also said that he wants every country involved to step up and do more. This was a small step in that process.
在对朝核岛计划采取进一步措施，坚定维护国际核不扩散体系的同时，也重申维护半岛的和平。
The relationship is really extraordinary. We like each other, and our countries like each other.
北朝鮮情勢については、トランプ大統領との間で日米が 100% 共にあることを確認しました。
Well, you know, from the start, even during the campaign, he seemed to signal that he would be a different kind of leader, be willing to say no to the United States, be eager to seek dialogue. So that set the environment where, you know, an overture could be accepted.
Yeah, I think it's important, and Moon Jae-in, he walked a fine line between, you know, not upsetting America and also still like showing his will to North Korea, and then also dealing with China. I mean, it's really complicated, and so far I think he has done a good job.
다자주의 대화를 통해 세계 평화를 실현하고자 하는 유엔 정신이 가장 절박하게 요청되는 곳이 바로 한반도입니다.
I think he also deserves credit for maybe exaggerating a bit when he praised Trump. I think he saw that if anything that he's done was a diplomatic, smart diplomatic move, that was probably the smartest.
He really had to go out on a limb. There were other, you know, forces and even within South Korea constituencies that really frowned upon and were critical of his movement of rapprochement toward North Korea.
This 4月27日举行的南北朝鲜之间的对话呢，主要的焦点呢放在 韩半岛的战争危险是消除的，可以实现，通过南北朝鲜之间的直接对话呢，可以实现永久性的和平着落的问题。中国政府呢，对此呢整体上是持肯定的状态，肯定的保有乐观的态度。
I think the message from Chinese President Xi Jinping is very, very clear. We really hope the DPRK could take the current chance to make up their mind, giving up their nuclear weapon. Then that kind of insurmountable message will be paved the way for DPRK to get back to the international community. Nuclear and the missile ambition, we see there's no way Kim Jong-un could move forward with some sort of such a Beijing policy. So DPRK needed to make up the mind. So either choose the nuclear weapon or choose the economic bed off. So the Pyongyang has no way to put the two things meeting each other. So I think that kind of the China's message is also very, very clear.
Moon kept faith despite repeated provocations and the sparring that was going on between North Korea and the US and the criticism he was getting in the media. Even at the beginning of the Olympics when his numbers started to go down, he kept the faith.
So I think what's really, really significant is the fact that we really saw the South Korean president taking the lead, and he's the one who studied this process.
남북이 함께 손을 잡고 한반도 평화의 돌파구를 열어가야 합니다. 올바른 여건이 갖춰지고 한반도의 긴장과 대치 국면을 전환시킬 계기가 된다면 나는 언제 어디서든 북한의 김정은 위원장과 만날 용의가 있습니다.
He managed to overcome them and again bring North Korea to the Winter Olympics.
최초로 남북 단일팀을 구성하여 최고의 성적을 거두었던 영광을 다시 보고 싶습니다.
이제는 북한의 결단만 남았습니다. 북한의 결단을 다시 한번 촉구하면서
Or actually, I think that first summit in Pyongyang was a big deal. That was a big turning point, right? To see that the South Korean NIS chief went up to Pyongyang.
평창 동계올림픽을 계기로 조성된 남북 간의 대화와 관계 개선의 흐름을 살려서 한반도의 비핵화와 진정하고 항구적인 평화를 만들어 나가고자 하는 대통령의 확고한 뜻과 의지를 분명히 전달하겠습니다.
South Korean NIS chief had this meeting with Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un made some commitments there. I thought that was huge, just to see South Korea and North Korea together. I was very surprised afterwards when the South Korean envoys then went to Washington and Trump suddenly agreed, hey, I'm going to meet with Kim Jong-un without any precondition. That was huge as well. I don't think Donald Trump was even supposed to meet with Chung Il-yong, but Chung Il-yong presented the invitation to him.
이제 한 고비를 넘었습니다만 한반도 비핵화와 항구적인 평화에 이르기까지 넘어야 할 고비들이 많습니다.
I mean, this is what happened after the war between France and Germany. The two governments decided to have a lot of exchanges between schools. I went to Germany, we had a school, we came to France, and this is how you build a friendship between two countries. But if the good relationships continue, I hope we'll have as many cultural exchanges as possible. It's a great thing.
I think it's more important to think in small steps, start with cultural exchange. Start with a human exchange and economic exchange, and eventually it will happen. But I mean, unification should be the goal in the end, and if you talk too much about it, then it will actually block you from reaching it.
Managed to move toward the summit that's taking place and really put the Inter-Korean summit and the summit between Kim and Trump on the doorstep of the American president, to the point where it would be difficult for Donald Trump even to refuse.
Seeing the two of them just walk down the stairs and cross and go to separate podiums to give their statements was a striking moment. The most prominent achievement is that it happened. That after what was a really dark 2017, we saw these two leaders come together and were able to sign an agreement.
오늘 김정은 위원장과 나는 완전한 비핵화를 통해 핵 없는 한반도를 실현하는 것이 우리의 공동 목표라는 것을 확인했습니다. 북측이 먼저 취한 핵 동결 조치들은 대단히 중대한 의미를 가지고 있습니다.
무엇보다도 온 결의가 전쟁 없는 평화로운 땅에서 번영과 행복을 누리는 새 시대를 열어나갈 확고한 의지를 같이 하고 이를 위한 실천적 대책들을 합의하였습니다.
That's right. This news is actually breaking right now, and the voice you hear behind me is the voice of Kim Jong-un. He is astonishingly standing at a podium before the press, the South Korean and North Korean press, next to Moon Jae-in, giving a prepared statement following this day-long summit in which the two leaders have met and come to some sort of joint declaration, joint agreement. We haven't seen the content of that agreement yet, but it will be parsed over in the minutes and hours and days to come.
There's a lot of diplomatic activity going on between the various capitals involved, especially Beijing, Pyongyang, Seoul, and Washington.
我们希望并期待着以这次板门店历史性会晤为契机，进一步开辟半岛长治久安的 新征程。
I think we'll have a meeting over the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to be a very important meeting. The denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula of North Korea. The denuke. That's very nice. Thank you. That's very nice. No bell.
All of this plays into developing an agreement, I believe, on what is comprehensive, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization. That is the key point.
Inter-Korea summit meeting will not be just a go along. Then we will see the U.S. North Korea sustainability meeting also will be follow up soon. So then it's some sort of a very amazing string of events. Well, very hopefully leading to breakthrough of a denuclearization.
I think the fact that the word denuclearization was in that agreement was a really huge deal. Kim Jong-un has now signed his name to an agreement that has that word in it, denuclearization. You know, what that means will still have to be discussed. The agreement was quite vague on that, and it seems to be signaling they're talking about denuclearization of South Korea too, which would mean no American military and nuclear-armed assets coming into South Korea. That will be difficult for the United States to swallow. But in terms of the overall symbolism and messages that Kim Jong-un was sending to Washington today, I think it's very positive. He's really saying, you know, we can work together on this, and he wants to go down this diplomatic path. So that's a big breakthrough.
When it comes to Washington, they're watching this closely to see what their meeting might be like and what groundwork might be laid for any potential meeting with President Trump.
I know that some people say it's not concrete enough. Some people say that Kim Jong-un's father already said a similar thing. But to be honest, I think the situation has changed. Kim Jong-un knows there's no turning back. If he changes his point of view, then I think at least Donald Trump will not, it will have consequences for him, probably also military consequences. So I think it's a big step that we have it black on white on the paper, the commitment to denuclearization. Yeah.
I'm from Ireland, and so we have the north and south as well, and it's been a big issue about how to get peace between North and South Ireland. So for us, this is also something that we're very interested in. Everyone, I think, is interested in peace in the peninsula.
那当然，我们只能说借由南北韩的一个经验，我们会自己去稍微想一下我们的历史地位，或者是我们之后跟中国会采取什么样的姿态来。
이번 판문점 선언은 한반도에 더 이상 전쟁과 핵 위협은 없을 것이라는 것을 전 세계에 천명한 평화선언입니다. 이번 판문점 선언을 통해 남과 북은 완전한 비핵화와 핵 없는 한반도를 공동 목표로 합의하였습니다.
북부 핵실험장 폐쇄를 5월 중 실행할 것이라며 이를 국제사회에 투명하게 공개하기 위해 한국과 미국의 전문가와 언론인들을 조만간 북한으로 초청하겠다고 밝혔습니다. 김정은 위원장은 서울 표준시보다 30분 늦는 평양 표준시를 서울 표준시에 맞추겠다는 입장을 밝혔습니다.
It is just great that these two intelligent and brave leaders have met, and that they stated that no war will be ever in the Korean Peninsula, no hostile acts, and that they are going to work together for the peace. Now, this is going to be a little bit complicated, as we know, but nevertheless, it is an historical day, and we owe this not to China, not to America, but we owe this to the Korean people.